Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. I welcome you all to the session on importance of data security for businesses at TechSparks 2020. Let me introduce myself. I'm Nagesh Konduru, CEO and founder of Banyan Data Services. I had a privilege to work for Apple for more than 20 years. I used to manage the data services and other technology platforms for one of the world's largest infrastructure, empowering the critical consumer-facing applications at Apple. I was also lucky enough to work on the data security at the early days. Nobody knew it when I started data security. That was the days in 2003 when the SOX regulations came to US because of corporate malpractices. That's where everybody was sitting in closed rooms and trying to find out what is IT security, what do we do with the databases? That's where I got a chance to work on data security compliances. I was also customer advisory board member for one of the topmost database company in the world. I'm passionate in technologies, mainly on data. Data is really my passion. You can look at me on my company logo is that. And I've seen evolution of industry moving from internet to cloud, IoT, everywhere. There have been mentoring many startups with my experience and do invest as an angel. We are living in the digital world, right? So earlier we used to call it, of course, everything's we are in the global world, but now we're all digital global world with more connected devices than ever before. Actually, digitization is accelerating the globalization on all the fronts. It can be economically, socially, or politically. We are reaping many benefits of globalization. It's creating the new business opportunities and amplifying the traditional businesses with digital transformation. Do you know what's the best way to measure the digital good transfer between two countries today? It is the most complex task to me. You cannot put a dollars how much you are exporting data from one country to another. It's very difficult. Only way to measure is cross-border data transfer over the internet. That reflects the dependency between the two countries, the digital economy. Think about your streaming Netflix. If they don't have any servers in India, probably you are streaming the movie from US. Look at, there are so many companies in US, there are more than 50 to 70% the traffic is coming from Asia. Think the dependency between the US and Asia itself, right? And just to share one of the very 2 years old, very interesting article. There was an article everywhere, New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, saying that many internet pundits were scratching their head why there is an internet spike once in a day. Okay, guess what? They found that's where when India wakes up, people say good morning on the social media and choke up the internet. They couldn't even figure out, wow, India people are so much connected to digital, mobile. They all say good morning, hi, and forward so many messages. That was the reason even WhatsApp introduced a feature to wish to more than a person at once, right? And look at the data, how it's growing at a staggering rate. It's unbelievable. In the digital economy, what's a currency? Do you think oil? No. Gold? No. It's all data. Who has the more data, he's rich. That simple it is. So it's all data controls the asset, who has a more valuable asset. If you look at, very interesting, this is a World Economic Forum. Every year they present what are the global risks we are going to have it that year, okay? So if you look at 2020 report, these are the things. If you take a top 10, it's always climate changes, right? Cyclones, volcanoes, natural disaster, earthquake. What's a common one last 4 years? Data fraud, cyber attacks. Top 10, always data fraud and cyber attack. It's a one-off thing. Look at everything here, climate change, natural disaster. There's nothing you can control it. There's only one you can see in 2000 is infectious diseases, right? So you look at all this, right? It's so many things, but man-made is the only one cyber attack and data fraud. That's the one at least we can control it. All the rest we cannot control it, right? COVID itself, you see, right? Globalization, what did we do? We all got it spread so fast because of mobility of people across the world, right? So it's always what it means is the only way. If you look at the global risk factors, they don't care anything. They always worry about human-made disaster. There are a few things they wrote it. I was very curious what it is. But even asset bubble, that because of economy, they can have it, but it's all about data. It's consistent, okay? And that's serious it is. And look at the numbers. You just can't believe it. Data breach, 2019, $2 trillion cost the businesses. And what is estimated of the data breaches next 2 years, 2020, 2021? It's going to be 6 trillion per year. Businesses are going to cost because of data breaches. Even if you take a typical company, more than 50%, look at 53% of companies, they don't maintain privacy. They literally give a sensitive access to every employee. It means it's not just threat coming from outside. You have a threat within the company if you don't know how to manage your services. So even employees can see sensitive data. That's what happened more than 50%. And how do you prevent it? It's $1 trillion you need to spend over 4 years if you want to protect yourself. It's a very expensive prevention you need to do to protect yourself from the breach. Why do you get so much data breach now? Why not in the past? Is it because you're generating more data? I don't think so. Of course, we are generating more data, but there are various influencing factors that are contributing more data breaches. Here is a modern development framework used by application. All the applications, you can take it, okay? The most important is hybrid cloud. There is no more usage of on-premise data centers protected by limited buildings and stick firewalls. I've seen a place where we had only one data center, you can put everything within the firewalls, nothing go out of it, right? But now what happens? You have to go to one cloud. Then after that, you have 4 clouds, which I wrote it. There's so many things, so many clouds, you all know it. I just listed a few. When you connect your infrastructure to so many clouds, you are exposed to more, right? The next is multi-data. That's where you have a structure, you have unstructured data in the internet world. It means you have so many data technologies which are supporting it. When you have so many technologies, is it really secure? The many of data technologies are not mature and not secure. I really spent enough number of years in this space running a data services. It's unbelievable, actually. You all look fancy. It's a feature driven. Our developers love it. We just go try to use it, then it doesn't work. It's not secure, at least. Then what happens? You go to open source. And that's a mandatory requirement, honestly. You cannot live without open source now. But what do you pay the price for it? You get bugs in the free software, of course, because it's not tested by any vendor. But you need to be choosy in that. Yes, we'll talk in the future slides. How do you do that, right? Then extensive usage of APIs. There was no APIs in the past. Now we are building the applications by using the public APIs to connect into third-party systems. We use microservices. We talk to each other through APIs. You have an application cloud 1, you have other application cloud 2. How do you talk to each other? So of course APIs. Then what happens? You're exposed more for the bad actors to hack the system and get into your data, right? So can you escape from any of the framework which I mentioned here? No. You need a hybrid cloud, of course, because you need a faster, you want to go live, right? It's amazing. And you get every feature, what a big company get it. And you need open source, it's free, and you need a multi-data, and you need APIs. But still need to protect it. That's what I want to talk to you guys and say, of course, use what you wanted it, but just be cautious. Look at the variety of data technologies here. I don't know how many are familiar for you guys. Look at the topmost. Relational data is there for 30 years, okay? And you all know Oracle database and SQL Server, Azure, MySQL, Postgres. There's so many technologies, relational data. Then when relational data could not meet the demand of internet, we started using big data for batch system, data warehouse, decision-making systems and all, right? We started using only these two for that for a long time. Now you have started a mobile world and your data is getting bigger. And if you have batch system, of course you can use a big data. For the OLTP front-end system, if you are building application, can you use a big data? You cannot use it. What do you use it? Then you use a NoSQL data. This is where I have built like thousands of nodes, thousands, I mean it, world largest clusters I built from the ground up. And NoSQL data is interesting thing here is we all love it, including me, but we love it just one reason, because you can scale it and you get always available option. It's so beautiful. But there's so many technologies, you name it. Even a year back, it was 270 databases, just NoSQL. The problem may be like 10 or 15 databases you can count on it. Each cloud have their own NoSQLs, you know very well. But you need to just watch out on that, okay? Because do you get a security on it? Honestly, 90% you don't get many, except very mature NoSQLs, which you're all using many. But don't try any new NoSQL database. What about the caching? You need a device connect everywhere in the house IoT, and you are mobile. How do you get faster response in microseconds? You need a caching data. None of this technology can help you. So you need a technology which runs only in the memory. That's where you use a cache, typically like Redis, Memcache. This is the technology that will be used. What about the log? Log is the one became popular because of social economy. What is social economy? You have a LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There's so many. The most fastest growing probably business systems in the world are which are running on the social ecosystem, right? Then to generate a huge log, that log is being used by many startups that are building so many products on the log data, right? And you're building artificial intelligence, ML and all, everything on log data. So you need a log management softwares, right? Log searching capabilities. That's where we'll be using it. The stream data. You need to stream it, real-time streaming, right? You can start from RabbitMQ, Kafka. You can use so many streaming systems. In every cloud has a data lakes, right? So you can use it. Think about all put together a couple of hundreds of data technologies serving variety of data. Okay, this is the where I've seen so many people make wrong decisions. I'm not just talking just for database security, even to scale it. But feature driven, why do you expect 300 databases someone invented in 5 years? There's a one feature is missing, someone go and write a database software, but it doesn't work. Just watch out on that space, okay? Data security threats. Look at here. It doesn't matter how many types of variety of data types you have it, and hundreds of data technologies. If it broadly categorized, there are only 4 data security threats. The first 4 most important is data theft. What is it? Identity theft. I'm very confidently can tell you, including me, I went to identity theft. What happens if someone steals your identity, right? What happens? It can go Aadhaar card, your first name, last name, address, that's it, right? So always there are 50% internet breach happens only for identity threat. That's it. That's where once they get it, they know how to hack the system, right? The next is people like to corrupt the data, okay? You have no reasons, I can't tell why they're coming from. They come from various countries, from Asia or Europe, it doesn't matter which country come from. You may be small application sitting in Bangalore, you think, wow, it's small company, why would I worry about it? No, there can be someone sitting in your neighboring country and you can just log into your system and corrupt your data. It just, that's where they want to impact the other systems, right? They delete the data, they destroy totally, you're out, okay? This is the level you can see. You just go to Google and search it. I didn't want to list one the company names here. You'd be shocked how many companies in the industry last 3 to 4 years, top-notch companies I'm talking, even on the cloud, people lost it. You all be shocked. Wow, by having such a good infrastructure by top companies, you lost it. And when you lose huge amount of data, we call typically data breach. That's it. You can just wipe out entire system, enter a business system or a company or whatever it is, okay? So this is the way they try to impact your application. What does it mean to business? Look at you, the first one. Everybody love it. Okay, it's a brand. I am very confident. I can tell you, everybody in the world who start the company, he wants to build the brand. Right? Once you build the brand, you're good. That's it. But to build the brand, it takes years. But one data breach can you take you down? You're done. Once your brand reputation done, you're done. What happens? Legal battle. Okay, and especially in US, I've seen it. Oh, can't say how many ways a person can sue other guy in the legal battle, right? So people just find a simple thing. I lost my phone number somewhere, right? That's it. If company leaked out the phone numbers of the clients, someone can sue them and take a millions of dollars. You can see so many legal battles happens, right? What happened to monetary impact? What if you can lose little some rupees or dollars? There are companies literally out of business. Entire wiped out, entire customer base gone. Nobody come and buy anything from you. So look at your brand reputation. It's okay. That's a gradual way of killing a business. Second is okay. You have a strength to go and fight if you have money. The third one, you're done. You're out of business. Nothing you can do it, honestly. Right? That's the reason what happened last many years. Everybody knows what's happening, right? So people started building the various regulations, compliances across the world. Very few of the worldwide like ISO standards are there, security management controls. There are many standards established by country-wise, by region-wise, even state-wise actually in US. What are they trying to do? The first thing is protect the identity of a person. Second, accounting, finance information, protect it. Payment, what if your health system applications? You will protect your health records, right? Doctor's information, patient's IDs. And the most happening thing right now happening in the world is Privacy Act. Till now, we're all enjoyed social, okay? We can go and write an email immediately, less than 5 minutes, you can see advertisement on your email, okay? But now everybody is building the Consumer Privacy Act. Europe started GDPR. Now California has passed the recent law. Many companies trying to figure out, being sitting in the California, can I really compliance with California? It's a very tough law, always, trust me, okay? And most of people know in this, if you're a startup, you're working on the credit card transaction, you should follow the PCI, okay? And the SOX, the one which came to industry, which I mentioned in the past was, that's where I started my career, not career, is a security standard. That's what I got exposed, like 2003. Nobody knew what to do it. There's so much fraud happened in the industry. CFOs went to jail, okay? As per the law, if someone do a wrong accounting malpractice, CFO can go jail for 20 years, 10 to 20 years minimum. That's called SOX compliance. And HIPAA, everybody knows, is a medical health information. It will be very strict on this, okay? This is just honestly tip of the iceberg of regulations, okay? There's much more on this. And I guess India started with IT Act 2000, I guess. But just watch out. You have company, I am very confident, there's so many people who, the startup guys, when I talk, none of them knows any of this. They're always feature driven. The maximum they know which cloud to go, what service they need. But if you want to grow, you just focus on the security, which is the most ignored area. How do you do that? Isn't it easy? It's not easy, but you can make it easy. Build a security culture. For any company's success is a culture, right? That doesn't happen overnight. It takes years to build a culture. Why not you create security as a culture in your company? Start from your top-down approach. It means start from your C-level executive, CEO, CFO, CEO. Start from there. Go to the lowest level individual contributor at a company. And you don't expect, you want to have some security IT group you want to create and they'll do it. Please don't do that. I've seen big companies who does it, they fail it. Literally, they fail it. There are thousands of people, company or a group. Would you put a 50 people, 100 people, they manage entire? No, you cannot. It's just not possible. So that's the reason the new concept evolved. That's called SDL, Security Development Lifecycle. And you all know what is DLC. You're all computer science graduates and you're all working here. You know what is SDLC. So what you do is, take SDL, security development, and embed into SDLC. That simple it is. It means that is the only you can make a part of the culture and the development process. First thing is, what you do is, once you say embed, let everybody say, okay, guys, we all get trained on it. Security is part of our culture. Let's do that, okay? Then you're ready to start a project. So first thing, what you do, you know what data you're storing it, right? Let's go and do the data classification. That data classification is the first thing you need to think, what data you're storing it? Is it person information, right? Then what information you're storing it, right? Then are you storing any finance data? If so, is it credit card? Is it a bank details, right? What do you do that? Is it the data contains health information? Then you go HIPAA compliance, right? You have a credit card and PCA. All this, it means you need to spend enough time to classify the data into multiple buckets. The next one is risk assessment controls. That's the most complex, trust me. So we can talk that itself like about. What does it mean is when you have application stack end to end, you need to have various controls, compliances to make sure everywhere you just need to have a control. Okay, starting from networking, server, OS, storage, databases, third party, right? Queuing system, everything. So you need to put controls everywhere. That's the one you can do it. That's called a typically security baseline, they call it. Even you can go and look at every cloud has it's a paid service, you can take it. If you're going to use, let's say, EC2 instance, yes, of course, AWS has it, Azure has it, their own compliances. But if you're putting your own application, he says you own the data classification, you own your controls. Who is accessing the data, right? You cannot do that. They only do for their services, okay? And next is software tracking. I just said, right, open source. You really need to do thorough validation of software stack you are using it, okay? Just in the name of ease of development, just because of fancy features, please don't go for it. Go for any technology which is matured enough, it is there existing in the market for a few years. There's enough community who is making a noise in it and then fixing the bugs. Don't go so new if you want to really bring a customer data in it, okay? And you also need to have a patch apply process regularly, you should apply it, okay? Next is threat modeling. What is threat modeling? Here, you need to visualize yourself as a hacker and assume you're a hacker, you want to get into your system. Start from the firewall to the lowest level database bit you want to get in. Visualize yourself and go attempt it. You can do model it. Just see that how strong your architecture is there. Okay? That's where you get a confidence, wow, okay, at least my architecture has enough resilience to cope up with the threats. You should do that, okay? And the security in build and QA, what does it mean? This is where typically I was telling the culture, okay? I know all the developers are busy with Agile, first of all. You have a 2 weeks release, they are pretty busy, everybody. And enough feature in the pipeline, but you make conscious efforts to make your developers and QA aware of the security. Embed it. Create a process, best practice. Everywhere you create a best practice, Java, Python, doesn't matter. So that way, when they think, wow, my code, nobody can get it easily and do a SQL injection. You cannot do it. If you can do that, again, you're building APIs. Think about it. Public APIs, you're creating it. Just watch out. That's one area. There's so many companies have seen it, at least even startups, they're trying to figure out it's spend more time on it, getting a practice. And that's ignored area too, okay? And you need to do vulnerability scanning. What does it mean? There are so many tools in the industry. It was not there in the past, honestly, 10 years back. But there are so many tools in the market right now, even open source. And if you're in the cloud, it's very easy. They have the tools. You need to have scanning tools. Go and scan your stack. Code it does it, okay? And what it does, it goes and check, let's say you have a default port, is it open? No, not open, there's a patch exposed. That's it, there is a exposed in so-and-so releases, right? So you need to watch out what this scanning does it, get the report, and then act on it, okay? And it also finds a lot of audit activities you can implement. And this is all very easy nowadays in the cloud. They're providing a lot of services introduced recently, okay? And the last one I really want to emphasize is data retention and recovery policy. What does it mean? What if you implement everything? Some new hacker comes in, is very smart guys than you. It's like thief and egg, right? And cops getting smarter, thieves become more smarter, right? It's always go, it's a chain. And what happens? You lose the data. Do you have backup in place? Can you recover data till you lost 5 minutes ago, 15 minutes back? Can you tell in the banking system, oops, I don't know what you do, create the money, what you debited last 1 hour. I can get you only 1 hour back data. That's it, you're done. Think of, right? So you need a very strict recovery policy. Okay. What is retention? Retention is a different purpose. What does retention does? Retention is even if you delete the data in your system, okay? After some time, someone come back to you and saying that he did the transaction, but he did not get enough money credited back or something happened negative, and you deleted him, you deleted his transaction, you don't have his data. Don't do that. In US, most of the companies, 7 years is a retention policies. Under my 20 years, I've seen it implemented 7 years retention policy. Anyone can come back to customer to you in 7 years and ask his data. You should keep it. Never delete any data. Okay? Except the social data, Twitter or other data, but not the consumer data. Don't delete. Okay? And of course, I mentioned, I begin with security training saying that make sure that everybody get trained, feel for it, educate them what regulations, have some training quarterly, every 6 months, okay? And just part of, they own the security, that's it. Developer owns the security for him. For infrastructure, they own the security. DPS, they own the security for themselves. Everybody has to own the security and establish the best practices. Never ever open the security team for your company. You should not. But if you want a concern, yes, you can take third-party companies, get a concern, but you cannot have a system inside, have one more security team and just chasing behind all the guests. Never ever do that, okay? This is the one I was telling you, the risk assessment control. These are security baselines. Let's say if a product or a service companies with the two things, let's say GDPR, let's say IT Act in India 2000, okay? And SOX, okay? Whenever you implement any standards, compliances, there are only 3 building blocks. The first thing is availability. What it means is, it doesn't matter what component of technology stack you're talking, you need to enforce such a baseline, the controls by which your business continuity always be there. Never you stop your business continuity. Anywhere, if any action happens, if you stop the business continuity for 1 hour, 2 hours, 1 day, what happens? Someone hacked it. You're done, right? So you have to make sure that every check which is related to availability, that's a front door typically. It's access controls, authorizations. That's where it comes into picture, okay? But tokenization and all. What about the confidentiality, right? This is where the user data privacy comes into picture. That's where the classification comes into picture. You must maintain the confidentiality, which helps you so many ways. It's not just identity theft I'm talking. Even your application 1 to application 2, you have to maintain strict isolation. Even the same customer has 2 different data sets in 2 different applications, try to maintain it, okay? Because you saw it, so many regulations are coming in. You have to be watch out, okay? And second is integrity. What is integrity? It's accuracy and consistency, right? So when you take the data, you store it has to be accurate always. Social data, you can say, fine, instead of 100 likes, I can say 99 likes, you can say 200 likes. It doesn't matter. But you cannot do with a consumer data, product data, any critical data. So you have to make sure that every control which you enforce, integrity. This is the way I can tell you there's so many data technology fails it. And if you're familiar with the data technologies, what do they say that? It's eventually consistency. We give it consistency. Don't worry, you can put a distributed database, hundreds of nodes, you can get it, right? But did anyone start talking integrity? It's very tough. So you just make sure that's your response. They don't. So you have to make sure data integrity is maintained, for which you need to put enough research on the data technologies, what you select. Okay, that's a secret sauce there. Well, this is what we come into picture. And I was telling you, I was working for Apple, and I left my corporate job. I started Banyan Data Services for more than a year ago with the mission to help many startups, other companies, give a service of any top-notch company gets in the world. That's where we are. We are located in California, and they're located in Bangalore, India office. Okay, and very, very extreme team. We have it. And we started special technology solution services for startup, because myself is angel, I'm active in the startup community in at least 3-4 countries. We are trying to focus our services in 3 phases. We can help any startup from proof of concept MVP. You have idea, you don't know how to do it. We can do assessment, we can give a technical solution, what to use it. We have a subject matter experts, we can come and help it. We can literally do a prototype for you, proof of concept. Then let's say what is needed for MVP, right? Just for the requirement. Then you're ready for the product build. What do you do there? We can literally ground up. You just close your eyes. We can go and build. We identify the right technology. We identify the right cloud. We are the hybrid cloud provider right now. All 4 clouds are official partners. We can go and build a cloud. What you need on the cloud? How secure it is? What data platform you need? Right? What open source you need? Right? And if you want to implement, use DevOps. Do you know why you use DevOps? Even today, most of the data loss condition, I'm not talking other data breach conditions. There's so many data loss conditions. I know it. It's all human errors. There are a lot of statistics out there. Probably 20% is a human errors. People are losing data. For that, you need to automate. That's where DevOps come into picture. We have extreme automation in place, integrated with the data services, with the cloud platform. Very unique. Okay, that's where we can help you to onboard. Then, assume you're a startup, not a startup, you're a phase 2 or phase 3, you can call it, you're in a B series or C series. You need to scale big, either in India or globally. And already told you, I have enough experience. 20 years I was building the world's largest infrastructure. So my team at Bangalore can, with any multinational, we can provide the service reliability engineering team services from ground up. And we can help you to support 24/7 globally. And also the good thing here, we are honestly, after data security is our passion. We do security governance end to end. So it doesn't matter what company says you need it, we can come and help you on that. That's where we can show a lot of difference. And with the technology, with automation, with the cloud, we really can help you guys. Okay. And if you want to reach us, you always can reach us banyandata.com, and of course on LinkedIn. You can see here on the TechSparks website itself. Okay. And if any questions, I can take it. If not, thank you all for attending this session. I hope this is really useful, and feel free if you really have any questions. If you have any questions on data security, anywhere, any services which I talked about it, you can always feel free me on my LinkedIn profile on my company website. Okay. Thank you all for attending, and mainly thanks to UStory team for great support, and you guys are really rock for conducting such a large event seamlessly. Thank you.